Hello and welcome. I am Light, and this is my podcast. Hello, Rob.
Hi Trace, how are you feeling?
Well, let me be honest with you, Rob. I have a sinus infection, and I have this thing that's apparently you get it in Texas. I've never been blessed with it before, unfortunately, because it's lovely, and it's called Cedar Fever. And Cedar Fever. Okay, let me explain something. Apparently, there's a lot of cedar-like trees in Texas, and we've been having ice storms. And apparently, the cedar trees release their pollen when it's freezing. Dumbest plant ever. And it goes in the air, and if you're allergic to cedar, you get cedar fever, which I have had now for, I don't know, 2, 3 years. I don't know, Rob. I'm losing track of time. And then it turned into a sinus infection, and I'm on antibiotics, but the breathing, it's just, it's hard to come by. I'm sure I'll be fine.
But other than that, you're alright.
Other than that, I'm all right. And the good news is I can take this because that bacteria that's been trying to kill me for years now has not reared its ugly head, Rob, since the end of November.
Touch wood.
Knock on wood, knock on wood, knock on wood. And if something's not actively trying to kill me, then I think that's a bonus. This is just actively trying to make me as uncomfortable as possible, which is fair enough.
Oh.
But, if you think, oh my God, she sounds snuffly, I do.
Guess what happened to me this morning?
What happened to you, Rob?
I had a sneeze that wouldn't come out.
Oh, I hate that. That's a form of torture.
I know.
Now you said we had a conversation about sneezing this past week because we apparently talk about everything. And you said you're not a fan of the sneeze.
I know, but maybe I was wrong.
Because I'm a fan of a good sneeze.
Just won't come out.
Did you look into the sky and try to suck in those dust bunnies that float in the air?
No, apparently I didn't do that.
Uh, that helps. Well, I'm sorry about that. I'll send you a card.
Thank you.
Anything exciting going on in your part of the world?
No,
No good gossip?
not that can be repeated on a podcast. No.
Me either. Me either. That's a bummer. All right. What are we doing today, Rob? Wait, before we
Nothing.
get started, can I say something real quick?
Of course you can.
Okay, so I made a whole video about this, but I'm going to say it here. There has been a winner chosen for my box of goodies. And I have posted a response to this person's post twice in what would be the last 6 or 7 videos. There's 2 posts buried in there that I have responded to, and you should have a notification that you have a response to your post. So, if you would, please go back through your posts over the last several videos, and I have asked you what your email address is. And I've put up my email address, which I don't want dangling out, but I'm leaving it up because I have to until you see the message. And if you would see that on my newest video, leave a comment and say, okay, I got your message, so that I know that you've received it, and I can look for your email, then I will mail this baby out. And I'm excited because I've only been talking about it for a year. Has it been a year, Rob?
It feels like it.
Feels like it. It does. It feels like it. Maybe since October. But the point of the story is, please go back and check your messages, and then get a hold of me, because I want to mail this to you. Maybe, and I'm not. I don't have an illness. I just sound like it. So it's okay. It's okay. I promise. Let me get this mailed to you. What do you think, Rob?
Yeah, I think they'll be pleasantly surprised when they finally get the box.
I do too. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I want to get rid of this thing. I want to have somebody open it, and hopefully they'll be excited, because I think it's really, I mean, I think it's well thought out. It's me. It's the channel. It's also part of you. There's a little bit of Rob in there, and yeah. But otherwise, I guess what I could do is just put their name on a video that says, "Hello, I'm talking to you, baby," like I do to you every day. Okay. Is there anything else you need to add to that?
No, just the fact that remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and share this video if you can.
Yes, please. Thank you. Okay, so what are we doing today, Rob?
Unknown victims again.
Unidentified murder victims.
Yeah, sorry, unidentified murder victims.
Okay. So, who's going first, Rob?
I'll go first if
Me?
you want.
Oh,
Yeah, you go first.
I'm teasing you. Teasing. You can go first.
Are you sure?
I am 100% sure.
Okay.
I'm going to turn my mic off for 1 second, because I got a snuffly nose. But I'm still here, Rob. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Right. 5 young males out of 33 known victims. We're talking about John Wayne Gacy, the infamous clown. Yes, so 5 young males out of the 33 known victims murdered between 1972 and 1978 by serial killer John Wayne Gacy remain unidentified. I don't know how that could be, but their skeletonized bodies was discovered buried on Gacy's property between December the 27th, 1978 and March the 9th, 1979. Due to advanced state of decomposition, in 10 instances, the cause of death could not be discovered. Oh, that's terrible. Could not be discovered, although the vast majority of Gacy's victims was killed by strangulation or asphyxiation. 4 of these unidentified victims are estimated to have been aged between 14 and 24 years old, whereas one victim is estimated to be aged between 23 and 30 years old. All of these victims were Caucasian, and at least 3 of these victims was murdered in 1976 or 1977, whereas 2 victims may have been murdered between 1972 and 1975. And what I've noticed there's a lot of overlap of murder victims and when they were murdered and how old they were. In the first instance, 14 to 24-year-old or 23 to 30-year-old. I just wonder how the police have come up with that.
Yeah, I never understand that 14 to 20 something.
So basically, the victims are 14 to 30.
Yeah. Yeah.
How could you tell, or how could you not tell a victim?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be able to read, measure leg bones, see where their molars are? How about their wisdom teeth? It seems like we should be able to narrow it down better than that.
Yeah, I mean, what this man, that's, I don't even know if you can call him a man. The whole thing with John Wayne Gacy was horrific. Horrific is not a, yeah, it's horrific.
Mm-hmm. My guess is probably closer to 14. But then you're like, what's confusing to me is always, as I always say this, your 14-year-old goes missing, and what did you do about it? It's weird.
I mean, we were just talking about this before we came on air. How can your child suddenly disappears?
Mm-hmm.
Or it doesn't matter whether they're 2 years old or 22 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Do they not? I mean, over here in the UK, if someone just disappears, I mean, there's a way they might not be able to find the body. They might not be able to find the person if they've gone missing on purpose, or they might not be able to find the body if they have been murdered. But there is still a big question mark of where that person has gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't.
Especially
with younger children. But I mean, was it the fact that do you think it could have been a big factor because these men were homosexual that they weren't reported missing, or I don't. Just maybe at the time that I know we're in a different time now, and it's a better time now than it was back in the 70s and the early 80s. But I don't know.
I really, I'd hate to think that was the case, but I can't say. That's an interesting idea, though. All right, do you care if I go?
Not at all.
Okay. This is Snake River, John Doe. The body of a white male was discovered in the Snake River near Lewiston, Nez Perce County, Idaho, on July 26, 1982, after his death, which was 2 to 3 weeks prior. The Doe network gives a longer estimated time of death to have been as early as January 1982. He was killed by 2 bullets from a .38 caliber Smith& Wesson gun, which has not been manufactured since 1967. I didn't know that. The wounds were located on the man's neck and shoulder, so he was shot from behind. He was between the ages of 18 and 20. I like that. Now that's narrowing it down. Although the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System reports that his age was not possible to estimate, increasing his age range to 19 years old. What? Increasing his age range to, oh no, 99 years old.
Hey?
Somewhere between 18 and 99, Rob.
Are you being serious?
Okay, I'm serious.
Well, that's just
Increasing his
ridiculous.
age range to 99 years old.
Then
Oh,
it must be
come
that
on.
must be a misprint.
No, it says because his age could not be narrowed down. Come on, there's for sure a lot of difference between an 18-year-old's body and a 70-year-old's body. Calcification, arthritis. I mean, come on, help me. All right, anyway, the Nez Perce County Sheriff's Department also gives conflicting information describing him to be as young as 13 to 20. So somewhere between 13 and 99. There you go. Congratulations. That's some fine work. Despite that he may have been deceased for 7 months, a scar was found on one of his ankles. However, no tattoos, no jewelry, no distinct birthmarks could be found. He was believed to be white, but he may have been Hispanic. As his hair, which was several inches long, was black or red. It's beginning to become clearer why some of these cases are never solved. His height and weight were estimated to be 5 feet 11 inches and 145 to 160 pounds, respectively. No dental care was observable in his mouth, as his teeth had been extremely well cared for, and no cavities. The young man, or exceptionally old man, wore jeans, blue, red, and white striped swimwear in an American flag design, and a white sock with the same colors. Hold on. He was wearing jeans, a swimsuit underneath the jeans, I'm assuming, and one white sock with the same red, white, and blue colors.
It's a child.
His case was reopened by the police in 2012. Well, they got a lot of work to do on that. Goodness sakes. What a cluster. That's somebody's child. Or who knows? Father or uncle, brother.
He could not have lived to 99 years old and had perfect teeth. I'm sorry.
Yeah, come on. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, that's sorry. I just don't understand that. Anyway,
Sorry, I shouldn't. I anyway. My next one, I did find it actually. Barnstable
okay.
County, John Doe. On June the 4th, 2014, so it's not that long ago, the
Uh-huh.
torso of a man of African heritage was found on a beach in Sandwich, Barnstable County, Massachusetts. Have I said it right?
Yeah.
Massachusetts. With his head and all four of his limbs missing. It's believed that the man
Okay.
was around 6 feet tall and weighed between 220 and 230 pounds. His body was found on the beach wrapped in a blue tarp and attached. Sorry, this is ridiculous. This isn't one, whatever the word. The was wrapped in a blue tarp and attached to a moving dolly.
Huh.
This, what's is? Am I thinking of what's the
Like
dolly?
a buoy, the thing that bobs in the ocean.
Are you
I
sure?
would, um, or what else would a dolly be called? A moving dolly.
Anyway, sorry. A
Uh,
surgical
oh, those things. I don't. You know what? I don't know. I think that's above my pay grade.
a surgical scar was also present, but it was unrelated to the murder. Another unidentified feature was a T-shirt for Rhode Island Pipe Distribution Company, although the quality of the T-shirt, um, although quantity of the T-shirts handed out each year prevent easy identification. In 2020, his face was reconstructed using DNA photo typing or fentotyping or something. I don't know how they could reconstruct his face when he did. He was
He
when
didn't
he
have
had
a head.
never had
How do you reconstruct the face of somebody and you don't have a head? What are we talking about here?
DNA fentotyping.
So they took his DNA, they found out what his heritage was, and it's like, this is possibly what he could have looked like? Because if you do my DNA, I'm mostly Irish and English, and I don't look anything like you.
And you know, it says the man was of African heritage.
Yeah.
Is that African American?
Yes, I would assume so.
Right. Okay.
Unless they mean, unless they are talking about, I don't know. Unless they're talking about his DNA, which could say that he came from, Africa. Um, I have a little bit in me that says I do. But he was found in Massachusetts, so I don't think he floated there from Africa. So I'm assuming they mean African American, right?
Mm. Yeah, we have a Barnstable in Cornwall.
So do you go to the beach?
There is a beach there, yeah, I think.
I wouldn't go. Sounds like a bad place.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Did he wash up on shore, or did somebody put him there? I don't. I know you don't know, but they're not very good with the details. Facial reconstruction. That seems odd to me. I don't know. Anyway,
Mm.
I'd like somebody to do that and see how close they get to what I look like. Okay, Newton County John Does. Two young men of different races were found on October 18th, 1983, in Lake Village, Newton County, Indiana. Both decedents, are confirmed victims of serial killer Larry Eyler. In July of 2020, the DNA Doe Project announced renewed genetic testing efforts to identify the African American victim whom Eyler specifically stated that he had murdered in July of 1983. Genetic testing upon the Caucasian victim, believed to have been murdered by Eyler in mid to late May 1983, began in January of 2021. This individual was identified in April of 2021 is 19-year-old John Brandenburg Jr. 3 other victims of Larry Eiler also remain unidentified. Have you ever heard of Larry Eiler?
I was just thinking that when you was reading it. No, I haven't. Have you?
No, I never have. I no. I'm gonna have to keep that in mind because I haven't heard of him. So that's interesting. All right. Well, I'm glad that they found one of them. I mean, identified him.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Wayne County Jane Doe of Michigan, 1987. Let me just get a drink before we kick off. On February the 10th, 1987, the body of a young woman, here we go, aged 16 to 25, was located in a dump in Detroit, Wayne County, Michigan.
Yeah,
The
Detroit,
victim
Michigan.
was deceased less than 2 days. Oh gosh, less than 2 days, and had been stabbed to death. She was approximately 5 feet 5 inches tall. She weighed around 114 pounds, which is 52 kilograms. Is that heavy, Trace?
No, not at all.
Um,
How tall was she?
5'5".
No,
5 feet.
that's very thin.
Oh, this. The victim had given birth 8 weeks to 1 year prior, and as she was lactating.
Oh.
A scar from an what?
What? Episiotomy.
Episiotomy, that's the one.
Yeah.
Does that mean she had a circumcision? Not what am I talking about? I'm going down roads here that aren't even there. Cesarean.
No.
Okay.
That means she had a vaginal birth and had uh, cut.
Oh right. Okay. Sorry, I am dragging this down old. I shouldn't.
Oh, okay.
Was found on her body. Her hair was brown with red and blonde highlights, and was styled with a long nape and various layers. She was slender, but had an athletic build, and was old blood type. Her nails were painted with pink polish, and she had brown hair. She also had brown or hazel eyes, and wore a black, and the same again, and wore black bikini bottoms. Was the only clothing she wore. 2 rings were on her right. 2 rings were found on her left hand, one on her index finger and one on her ring finger, indicating she may have been married. She also had pierced ears, along with some other unidentified
Decedents.
decedents from Detroit. The victim was exhumed in 2014 for additional examination. The DNA Doe project for assisting with the victim's case. Her name US profile was removed. Sorry, screen's gone off. Was removed in June 2020, possibly meaning she had been identified. However, no definitive identification has been made. On November the 24th, 2020, it was announced by the project that she had been tentatively identified, her name pending announcement by officials.
Oh, that's been a long time.
Yeah.
Huh.
Mm.
I wonder what's taking so long.
Maybe the family. I mean, could it be that she's been identified and the family don't want it? Don't want the. No, I don't know why they wouldn't want it, but announcing to everybody.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's possible or not. If if she was a minor, maybe they could dictate that or not.
Yeah.
Hmm. All right. Mine is the body of a white girl aged 2 to 3 years old was discovered inside a suitcase that had been thrown into Lake Alton in West Alton, Missouri, in St. Charles County on February 1st, 1968. This decedent is also known as Jane Doe West Alton. The child's remains were recovered by two fishermen who had hooked their line on the suitcase, which had been wrapped in blue clothesline and weighed with two 10-pound barbells found inside the suitcase. Distinctive features noted of her remains were an abnormally large tooth and a scar above one of her eyes. She had long blonde hair, although due to decomposition, her eye color could not be determined. She was approximately 2 feet 8 inches tall and weighed between 35 and 40 pounds. The sole item of clothing on her remains was a pair of white underwear. The child had been dead for up to 1 month before her body had been discovered. She was identified as a homicide victim, although authorities declined to reveal the precise methods used to kill her. She was laid to rest on February 7th in an unmarked grave in the children's section of Oak Grove Cemetery. After an image was constructed by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in September of 2015, the body was exhumed on September 24th from her unmarked grave in an effort to obtain DNA samples. Investigators later announced that the DNA testing conducted on her remains were unsuccessful. Nonetheless, the exhumation would yield a more accurate estimate of the girl's age at the time of her death. Her skull was studied to create a more accurate composite image of her appearance and life. And she's just a cute little blonde haired girl with bangs and ponytails.
Yeah. She looks really pretty little girl, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, they go on about DNA, how wonderful it is.
Uh-huh.
Well, it isn't. Because they say that they can sell so many. Basically, they sell it to us like if you leave a DNA sample behind, if you commit a crime, you will be caught. But it's not as great as what people what it's not as great as what they make out.
No, this is the issue. Um, okay. My husband's never been arrested. Especially for a felony. He's never given a DNA sample and he's never gone on a website to have his DNA tested. So if you found his child somewhere, you can't connect that child to him. He has never given a DNA sample. There has to be a DNA sample on record for them to
Yeah,
match it to identify them. And now with more and more people going to 23andMe and companies like that to get their DNA done, the police use that to find the relatives of these unidentified murder victims. And even, well, they even caught a serial killer that way because they believe it was his daughter or granddaughter, the one that was in California a couple years ago. They
yeah,
caught him.
yeah. I remember you talking
Yeah,
about.
a family member of his went and did a DNA thing online, and they caught him. So that's the issue. Um, now I've done the 23andMe and had my DNA done. So if I murder somebody and leave DNA, they can track me down. If somebody related to me died, they could find me. But um, you know, a lot of people haven't done that, and a lot of people haven't ever had to give their DNA for anything. I mean, why would you unless you were a criminal in general?
No thanks.
Have you had to give your DNA?
Loads of times.
Why have you had to give your DNA?
Because I've been arrested for lots of
They
things.
take your DNA?
Yeah. What's the
Were they
difference? It is.
were they felonies?
I don't know what a felony is.
Oh, like the worst level? Like like there's a misdemeanor. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We can only I believe you can only take a felon's DNA here, but I could be wrong about that. I often am. Uh yeah, so that's why
But
you can't. If nobody in her family has ever taken one of those DNA things, then they're not gonna make a connection. But hopefully someday somebody will. I mean, you just
you know, we
I
should. You know, it'd be ideal to have here, Steve.
yeah,
He'd know.
yeah. That's a good idea. Mad Meerkat.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's I just I can't wrap my head around stuff like that. There's the
No.
babies.
Well, the two next ones really really short. So, um, were you
You want
planning on doing
you can
Elko?
you
What?
can do them both if you want. Oh wait, you have St. Louis Jane Doe
Yeah.
and Sahara Sue.
Yeah. So, can I do them too? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. St. Louis Jane Doe, an African American girl.
Hey Rob, I'm
Yeah.
going to mute my microphone again real quick.
Okay, love.
Sorry.
An African American girl, aged between 8 and 11 years old, was found inside an abandoned property in 1983. Her head had been decapitated, hands bound, hands bound behind her back, and was naked besides a yellow sweater. Her head has never been found, but DNA has been collected for future investigations. What is all this about cutting someone's head off? Um, 1983. So um, you got to think that like we were just talking about DNA, and maybe we could there could be better stuff um, investigated, but it's still between 8 and 11. 8 and 11. I've got my youngest is 12, and my oldest girl is going to be 14 in April. How could you? I don't mean Chase. We were talking about this earlier, but it's just how could you hurt a child like this? It's just crazy. Right. So
Is
how?
which one is this? The
I'm still
8 to
talking.
11-year-old?
Yeah, I was just saying that um, we were talking about. I mean, her head had been decapitated again, hands bound behind her back, and she was naked. Besides, um, DNA has never been found.
Wow.
And I was just saying about my two that how could you hurt Like we were talking before we came on air about this. How could you hurt just a young child? Just crazy to me.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it's probably good that we don't understand that because I think it takes a special kind of person to get that. Um,
okay, Sahara Sue. A young white female with brown eyes and wavy light brown hair, whose body was located in Las Vegas in August 1979, who wore dentures, is estimated to have been aged between 15 to 25 years old and was 100 to 105 pounds in weight. Now, doesn't say how tall she was. I'm presuming that 100 to 105 pounds isn't very, it's quite slight. Is that right?
yes, very yes,
Um,
very very small.
they've done a reconstruction, um, just, just like a
Yeah,
young girl.
just like a little girl. More like 15 than 25, I would say.
Yeah,
She wore the dentures. Hmm, that's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. But it might be because Grace, my eldest girl, has got this condition with her teeth where the enamel hasn't formed properly
Hmm.
and her teeth are really chalky. So basically, the more she brushes her teeth, she's got to be really careful about how much she brushes her teeth and looking after her teeth because basically she can brush her teeth away.
Oh my goodness.
So that's might be the reason why she was wearing dentures. I don't know, but
Yeah, it could be something like that.
yeah.
Hmm. Okay, mine is Elko Jane Doe, and this is gonna be my last one. I don't care if you do another one, but it's gonna be my last one because I I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Anyway, the nude body of a female, also known as Shafter Jane Doe and Elko County Jane Doe, was discovered on November 16th, 1993, about 6 days after her murder had occurred. She was aged between 20 and 35 and had been shot twice, once in the chest region and once in the back. She had also been beaten. She was 5 foot 8 inches tall, 144 pounds, so she was thin. She had brown eyes, pierced ears, although the earrings were missing, possibly taken by the killer, that makes me think serial killer. She also had painted her fingernails pink at one time. Um, After examination, it was determined that she had used both alcohol and marijuana prior to her death, which makes no difference. I don't understand why they bring it up. She had possibly given birth to a child in the past, which they know if she has or not, by the way, and had very healthy teeth. Isotope analysis narrowed her recent place of residence to the city of Afton, Wyoming. Do you know what isotope analysis is, Rob?
Um, no, I don't.
Okay, so they can take like pollen or leaves or grasses, whatever, off of your person and identify to the city where that belongs to.
Well, that's clever.
Yeah, so if somebody's been traveling, they can say where they were this city, that city, this city, that city. And that's pretty amazing technology. Um so anyway, it narrowed her recent place of residence to the city of Afton, Wyoming. And she was found in does it Elko County, okay. Tire tracks near the body indicate that the killer's vehicle was either a pickup truck or a van. Probably a van since he took her earrings. The victim had a mole above her right ear and 2 scars on her lower right leg. Are you there, Rob?
I'm just weighing it all up, Trace.
Oh.
I just looking at the reconstruction, the 3D reconstruction.
Oh yeah, she was a nice looking girl.
Yeah, and like you said, what's it got to do with the fact that she had alcohol or a bit of weed?
Yeah, that's oh god. That kind of stuff really makes me mad. It makes no difference. That's like subtly blaming the victim.
Yeah, it was her fault.
Because they're not saying she had alcohol because she was at a bar or somebody's house. They don't know where she got the alcohol from. Uh, just mentioning it and the marijuana, in my personal opinion, is meant to give an impression of her, and I don't like that.
I mean, she didn't even
It's
have to be
nothing.
drunk. She could have just been in a place where people were using marijuana.
Yeah, it's unnecessary. We don't need to know that unless it has to do with a particular bar. And so you can say, well, it seems that she was here. Did anybody see her? Other than that, who knows where she got it? Who knows? Who cares? That has nothing to do with her being murdered. Sometimes I get riled up about things. I don't know if you've noticed. Um, are you gonna do another one?
What time is it? No, I think we'll leave it there.
Okay, can I sneak a tiny one in here really quick?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay. The remaining unidentified is called Brook Jane Doe. The remaining unidentified murder victim found in Bear Brook Park in Allenstown, New Hampshire on May 9th, 2000. She is believed to have been killed by the man who was later proven to be her biological father, the
Oh,
serial killer, Terry Peter Rasmussen. Have you ever heard of him?
no.
She was killed by a serial killer who happened to be her father. God dang.
Actually, do you remember when you did? I don't know. She may have done it on her own. Um, Madison did the serial killer one. Lesser known
Yes.
serial killers.
Yes.
I think she might have done him.
Really?
I think she may have.
Oh. Yeah, maybe that's because the way they spelled Peter, which is Peder, that
Yeah.
part looked familiar to me. I bet it
Yeah.
is. I bet that's what it is. He's known as the Chameleon Killer.
Ah.
God dang. Huh. Interesting. Well, that's an interesting one because it's another serial killer, but look how close you. I mean, jeez. And he just dumped her like any other victim.
Yeah.
Boy. All right. Well, I guess we're going to wrap that up for today.
Yeah.
And if anybody, as always, if anybody has any kind of information, regardless of how small or insignificant it seems, please contact the authorities because cases are broken on small, insignificant clues that lead to big ones. And we'd like to help their families, help them find some peace.
Mm. It's the little things,
Yeah.
the small details, like Trace said.
Yeah. All right, you guys, thank you for coming. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and do so. It's totally free, and you'll be notified of when my content goes live. And if you would share the video, that would be great too. We don't care who you share it with, even people you don't like. That's fine. All right, Rob, thank you for meeting me here tonight, this morning, whatever.
Not a problem.
Good night.
Good night.